Thank you for joining us at 60 Northbound. My sister and I have put these videos together for your enjoyment. My name is June. Today I'd like to talk a bit about affordability. Now, for some of you, this is a reality, living on Canada Pension Plan and old age security only. For others, perhaps not, but I'm hoping I can open everyone's eyes to everything with respect to people that survive on Canada Pension Plan and old age security. Excuse me. So in 2025, and I'll base everything then because it's easier to use the information that's finalized. The maximum, Canada Pension Plan is $1,433 a month. $1,433, that's the maximum. Now, for our friends in Quebec, yes, I've used CPP, but we could use QPP, which is Quebec Pension Plan. They're very similar, so for the purposes of this video, I am just going to say CPP, but it's roughly the same thing. Then, in 2025, the OAS, Old Age Security, $727 a month. Now, before I go on, we're all up in arms about proper pronouns and respect and, listen, I'm not going to argue any of that. But how are we still calling OAS old age security? That doesn't make sense. No one wants to hear it referred to it as that. I certainly don't. Anyhow, the OAS in 2025, as I said, paid $727 a month, combined the CPP and OAS, and that was a total of $25,920 annually. So that's it. If you're living on the maximum Canada Pension Plan and the OAS, you're getting $25,920 a year. Let me tell you, very few people have the maximum CPP, extremely few. So others may say, well, you're forgetting about the GIS and how that can help us out. Absolutely, and no, I have not forgotten it. The Guaranteed Income Supplement, also known as the GIS, is paid to Canadians who, in 2025, made under $23,000, with 22 some odd, but our maximum CPP and OAS was over that. It was $25,920. So we are, for this video, forgetting about it because we're already earning above that amount. Now, I've done a little research, and in 2025, I looked at housing costs. I'm talking about a one-bedroom, basic, with electricity and water. So one bedroom with your basic utilities in different parts of the country. So I've used the eastern part, I've used the central part, and I've used the western part. So the eastern part I've used as Newfoundland, Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick. The central, I've used the provinces of Quebec and Ontario. And the western, I've used the provinces of Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and British Columbia. So you have an idea of what I'm talking about. So what I've done is I've looked at these places. Central Ontario, Quebec is really what struck out to me the most. $147 a month is what's left over. So if you're getting your OAS and your maximum Canada Pension Plan, you're getting $147 a month after you pay for that one-bedroom apartment and utilities, which is just over $2,000 a month. So reality hits in. Could you live on that $147 a month? I don't think so. But in Canada, if you're just living on the Canada Pension Plan and the OAS, you're living on that. And please note that this is minimum very few people. Do you imagine Toronto getting a one-bedroom apartment in Toronto for just over 2,000? Probably not going to happen. So this is just the average, and it just gets you to think a bit. That's all I want to do, is get people to think a bit. In the East, we're looking at rent and utilities, average of $1,300 a month. Again, one bedroom, utilities. So after everything's said and done, they're left with $860 a month. Now, I haven't even factored in income taxes. This is just the maximum. So, I mean, let's not even go there. I'm just saying, if we assume the cost of one bedroom and utilities. So it's $147 Central. Eastern, it's $860 a month. In the West, they fare slightly better than East, slightly better than the Central, but not as good as the East. And that's at $1,700 a month, or $440 is what they end up with. Now, having said that, please remember, there are places, okay, we already talked about Toronto in Central, but Vancouver, I mean, really, do you think you could get a place in a one-bedroom apartment in Vancouver for $1,700? That isn't going to happen. That is not going to happen. So these are just general, and I'm trying my best to keep it as general. So some of you sit back there and say, wow, what about pensions? Everyone has a pension from their employer. Sad fact, sad reality is that's not true. Less than 30% of us have pensions from their employer in which they can, count on. There's nothing. And you know what? It's going to get less and less and less. Fewer and fewer places will be providing a pension. Others will say, well, you knew that, retirement was coming. Why didn't you save for it? That's interesting that people will say that. I will not judge. I will not judge anyone and their circumstances. We all have lived through things. Now, first thing is, perhaps you only made minimum wage or just above, and you had a hard time keeping your family afloat. And you hoped things would turn out different, and this is just reality. The economy right now is just, everything is so expensive. So maybe you weren't able to save because of your employment situation. There are other factors that we should consider, we should think about, because not everyone, probably actually no one, life was just like this. We've all had bumps in the road. Imagine if you had a sick child and you had to stay home with him or her for most of your earning life. What if you yourself were sick, or struck with cancer, or we don't know. What if we had to take care of parents? We're the sandwich generation where we took care of older parents and our children, and we were right there in the middle. There are varying reasons why people perhaps did not have the opportunity to save enough. But it is what it is. We are where we are. Things are as they are. The economy is such that it's tough for anyone to make it. But to think that people who have worked in this country and contributed for all these years are now left with just the bare amounts of perhaps $25,920 a year? I don't know. That doesn't sit well with me. And when I have done some research, I decided, well, what about if these seniors could look into rent geared towards income? And I looked at some of these buildings. And yeah, that's phenomenal. If you can get that. You usually take about 30% of your income as rent. If you can get that, and I say that not to be mean, I say it because it's reality. Most provinces, you will wait long time to find that. Some say, I was up to 10 years. Well, we might be dead. Others, 5 years. Some 3, 2. But definitely you are not going to get an apartment geared to your income quickly, anywhere. So we're stuck with reality. I'll let you ponder about that. Imagine $147 a month. Could you do it? As always, I'd appreciate your comments below. Please share our video and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.